All right, so I'm going to start doing some series, and I'm going to do a series on restraining orders. And my restraining order is going to be a six-part series, and starting with number one, how to attain restraining order. What these women do to obtain restraining orders. Now, why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I think that whenever I talk about something, there needs to be the breakdown of start to finish, and you cannot get that done in one video. There's so much to be talked about, so much left out. Excuse me. Examples of how when this information that I'm bringing to you guys, how I came about the information, how I executed, how I got out of it, etc., etc. Now, I've done probably 50 or 60 or so videos on restraining orders. It's a ever-revolving topic. They keep coming up and coming up and coming up. And honestly, individuals can never get enough of restraining orders, and I don't blame them because individuals are falling victim to them every day. Check this out. Like it, subscribe to it, tell everybody they need to hear it. So what I'm going to do in the first part is I'm going to tell individuals about restraining orders, and part one is going to be how to obtain, to validate, and then I'm going to move on to validation of the restraining order, and how that's what you got to fight when you. I'm going to do that in part two, then of course 3, 4, and 5, and I'm going to end this series with part 6. So right now I'm going to talk about obtaining a restraining order. I had two individuals. I had 3 restraining orders put on me. One person put one on me twice, and another person put one on me just this year. People, restraining orders are the only thing that someone could obtain with lies. It is the only thing that somebody could obtain with hardcore lies. You can get a restraining order simply by saying, I was in fear of my life. This is actually the same rule that cops use to kill people. I was in fear of my life. Atia LaShawn Bradley got a restraining order on me after coming and assaulting me in my house and just leaving all that information out. Atia LaShawn Bradley got a restraining order on me. So I'm going to tell you guys about the situation. I had a house, and it was in a very, very beautiful neighborhood. It was the neighborhood where you can leave your doors open. As a matter of fact, my BMW 6 Series that I have now, I used to leave the keys in the car. And Atia LaShawn Bradley knew this, so she entered my home. I used to leave my back door open. So she entered my home, picked a fight with me. She carefully explained how I was just doing everything to them. I was breaking up with her, but she so eloquently said that I was breaking up from my daughter as well at that time. We got into a fight. She tried to push me down the stairs. I struck her. However, before she tried to push me down the stairs and I struck Atia LaShawn Bradley, the damage to me was already done. I had a ton of defensive wounds on me that told the story. And if you don't understand women, they become real absent-minded to what they do because you don't understand why a woman is doing this, but they do these things for involvement. 24 years ago, when I was going through all this, I did not look at it like I understand it now. Atia LaShawn Bradley and I was breaking up. So dragging me into court wasn't about the process of the restraining order. Dragging me into court was simply spending time with me. Yeah, that's why Atia LaShawn Bradley put a restraining order on me. She put a restraining order on me to spend time with me. I had to come to court, and I had to stand there and listen to her and give her dialogue, and her words mean something because they're going to land on my ears. So I went and put one back on her. And when she put one on me in 2012, at that time, 13 years later, I was now a seasoned vet and knew how to fight restraining orders. That's why you want to tune in for part 2. And part 2, validation of the restraining order. Okay? So, Atila Sean Bradley struck me, and I can remember like it was yesterday. I remember in the Pocono Mountain, Pennsylvania, it's dark. There are no streetlights. And I remember her running next door, calling the cops. I remember 3 state trooper vehicles pulling up. At night, where I lived at in Middle Smithfield, Pennsylvania, they didn't have a police department, so the state police patrolled the area. And I remember watching 3 police cars pull up. At night, they do a double patrol. So 2 officers in the car at night, only 1 in the daytime. And I remember seeing 3 cars pull up next door, and I was just saying, Lord, I'm going to jail. Wow, I'm going to jail. And I was saying, Lord, I'm going to jail. Why I'm going to jail? Because I had made it my business to never, ever get in trouble. So I just seen them, 2 officers breaking away. Their driveway, like mine, was probably about 60 to 70 feet off the road. And I was just seeing them, watching them walk with their flashlights, walk up. Then I watched them as they started coming up my driveway. Now, my house at the top, I was on a porch. However, right at the point, at the arch of my house, I had like a 500-watt light bulb. And when they was walking up to the house, the motion light came on and it lit up the area like the sun. And I remember just watching the police officers walking up to my porch, coming out of the dark shadows and walking up to my porch. And as they're walking to me, I'm looking at the expression on their face, and they're like, "Sir, we need to talk to you." And then they were like, Sir, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, what?" Then the other officer said, "Look." He flashed the flashlight at me. All the skin on my forearm was gone, and I was drenched in blood. I didn't even know it. One of them left, went back over there, start drilling her. She was in the wrong. She started yelling belligerently, "You just arrest him! Arrest him!" You just heard her just trying to sell me on the fact to be arrested. They were like, "Ma'am, he actually can have you arrested." Restraining orders have evolved since then. It is not giving men the benefit of the doubt at all. That's why you need to come back and check out part 2. But they are not giving men the benefit of the doubt at all when it comes to restraining orders. You are just going in there and you just getting your tail handed to you, and you have to know how to fight it. When I went to get a restraining order the second time, it was like, so I'm saying all that to say, a lot of you out there are going to go through things. A lot of women out there, they're going to get restraining orders on you because there is no evidence needed to obtain one. Or is there? Or is there? How does one get a restraining order? How does one truly get a restraining order? Come check me out on part 2, y'all. Have a good night.